There's a lot to go over today. Let's get started. Hello and thank you for watching. I've got a lot to go over today, so I'll get started. Today, I'm going to talk to you about lack of respect, or the lack of respect that we should have for our politicians. Then I'll transition to upcoming economic news, and I'll finish it off with mortgage-related information. But first, a message from our sponsors. Okay, let's be real. I don't got any sponsors, so let's just carry on. All right, social media. Actually, social media and media in general is just a blessing, just as much of a blessing as it is a curse. Social media or old school media gives small business owners like myself a platform to talk to thousands of people who would have otherwise never known my name. That's a blessing. The curse is that it also allows people to invite other people into their lives. If you choose to use social media, then the world gets to see how smart or how dumb you really are. And for politicians, it proves that as a whole, they aren't any smarter than us, or to be honest, they aren't even any better than us, right? Yes, their job is to pretend that they're the wholesome American family, right? And with their value system implemented into law, your lives will get better. But has it ever really? Name to me one person who says, I'm a millionaire due to government assistance, government policies, or government social programs. I'll be waiting for a long time. And of course, these politicians aren't really helping us. And the reason why is because they're no better than us, right? Let's just take the two top leaders in each party, Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Donald is despised so much that when people went to the polls, they didn't go to the polls to vote for Joe Biden. They went to vote against Donald Trump. Biden got the most votes in American presidential history because of Trump. And why does half the country hate him? Come on. I can be here for a month if we wanted to go down that road, right? And to be honest, I personally don't hate Trump, but you can easily see how people can get offended. Isn't that right? Crooked Hillary, or Shifty Schiff, or Jeff Flakey, Ron DeSantimonious, Sleepy Joe, Crooked Joe, Beijing Biden. And it goes on and on, right? Although very funny, it is also very childish. Most would say it's not very becoming for the leader of the free world. So even the president can act like a third grader when you oppose him. Then you have Biden. Can you believe an 80-year-old is president? And he's running for re-election, all while he claims that he's squeaky clean. Let me tell you this. If I'm vice president, which he was at the time, and you tell me that my alcoholic, drug-loving, hooker-buying, wife-cheating, and stealing son was making millions of dollars from China, Ukraine, and others, all without having any experience in any of those subjects, I know I would 100% pick up the phone and say, how? I'd pick up that phone and be like, hi, son. And then, how? Right? Hey, son, forget the jibber jabber. How do you have these contacts that no regular person can have? How are they paying you money when you have nothing to offer? No experience, no expertise, no knowledge of anything. Of course, none of this was ever asked. Instead, Joe said this.
He's a grown man. He is the smartest man I know. I mean, in sort of pure intellectual capacity.
So either Joe is one of the worst dads ever because he doesn't keep in touch with his son, or he is the biggest liar ever because he didn't ask, Hunter, how are you getting these jobs without my help? Or possibly he's both, worst dad and liar. Yet, this is the best that both sides had to offer us as president. And it seems like we love him so much that we're about to go another round with these two. My point is, The average American has more in the way of decorum than Donald Trump, and the average kid doesn't have the guts to tell such stupid lies just like Joe Biden. So, ladies and gentlemen, both sides are horrible. Neither side and neither person is someone that I'd want to lead my family, my business, or my country. No longer will I believe in any of these politicians that are in politics, obviously. Not until they prove it to me. So social media and even traditional media is to thank for that. They get to show us who they are and what they're really like. They taught me that even our most revered person is not better than me. Good lesson to learn. I wish I'd have learned that one in my 20s. All right, on to economic news. Another big week for us on the financial side. CPI comes out on Tuesday. I said last week that CPI was going to be huge. It's going to most likely tip to either side with regards to raising the Fed's funds rate or not. As of May, the Fed has had 10 straight rate increases since March of 2022. Now, when they started monetary tightening, it was clear that we would be receiving rate hikes, right? After every meeting, there's no debate. If you remember, it wasn't if the Fed was going to raise the rate. It was rather, the question was, how much are they going to raise the rates? 25 basis points, 3/4 or half a basis point, 3/4 of a basis point, all over the board. Well, now it's come full circle. It's not how much any longer. It's whether they will or will not raise the rate. If they do decide to increase the rate, nobody expects it to be more than 25 basis points, even though unemployment is up and job growth also almost doubled expectations up to 339,000 jobs. And let's talk about jobs for a second. You see, people love to say, show me the data. But data can often be surface level data. When you dig into jobs report or other reports, right, you can often see that there are cracks in the armor. First, the average work week is down. Even though jobs report is up, right, 339,000 new jobs, the average work week is down. The reported average work week went from 34.4 hours a week down to 34.3 hours a week. But Ruben, that's only a tenth of a point. Correct. Which is why you have to dig deeper. Economists say that that tenth of a point is equivalent to cutting several 100,000 jobs. Amazing. With regards to wages are up by 4.4% in the year through April. Still waiting on May. But inflation is up or down to 4.9%. That means that you might have received a pay increase, but you're still losing money every month. Also, unemployment. Unemployment rose partly due to company layoffs. Obviously, that's never a good thing. And the main jobs that are being added are construction, government, and hospitality. It's important to remember that when COVID hit, online businesses blew up. Online businesses was the new gold rush. But just like a gold rush, only a small portion of people actually struck gold. And now that the dream that they had didn't turn into reality, it's back to work, building homes, serving tables, and back to that government position. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's something to be said about doing your 8 and hitting the gate. Hell, I'm doing this research and planning at 6 p.m. on a Saturday. I envy you. And your paycheck is guaranteed. That sounds fabulous. Nevertheless, I digress. You see, I could spend another hour on whether the Fed will or will not raise rates on Wednesday. There is honestly a strong case for both sides. If it were me, I'd do one more rate hike. That would be it though. Just one more rate hike and that'd be it for me for at least another couple of months. And the reason why is because it takes time for us to see results when you're talking about monetary banking. However, I'd rather be safe than sorry. And because we have such a historically low unemployment rate, along with a strong growth numbers is what they're saying, I lean on raising the Fed's funds rate one more time, at least one more time, and take it from there. Now on the mortgage news and back to CPI. The consumer price index that comes out on Tuesday says a lot about our economy, but for my business, it is a direct reflection of mortgage interest rates. You see, there's a common belief that mortgage rates follow the 10-year and a 2-year bond, or whether Sometimes it follows if the yield curves are inverted or not. And definitely there is a correlation. The correlation is that both sides are tied to inflation. When inflation is high, mortgage rates are high. And when inflation is low, mortgage rates tend to be low. The mortgage rates dropped a bit in the last couple of weeks. Not much, but a bit. And you want to know what else dropped? Just a bit? Not much, but a bit? CPI. It went from 5% down to 4.9%. And again, a tenth of a point doesn't sound like much until it's applied to 331 million people. But as a buyer, don't think that if CPI comes in low on Tuesday, that you'll be blessed with possibly a lower mortgage rate. Because you might. But you know who else will be blessed? Everybody. That means that you will now be competing with other individuals that chose to sit it out this last economic cycle. And with competition comes demand. And with high demand and low housing inventory, which we have, comes a higher priced home. As mentioned before in my other videos, date the rate, love the home. Meaning, get the home that you want now at the price it's at now, and then refinance later when the rates go down. It's bound to go down sometime in the next year. Hopefully back to the 5%, right, if we're lucky. But remember, date the rate, love the home. And with that, hopefully there was some value brought to you guys there. It was a lot to go over. And as always, please remember, life's not meant to be. It's meant to create. Too strong.